So I just got back from running the No Business 100 in Tennessee, goes through Kentucky. Beautiful race, highly recommend it. But I was wearing my Apple Watch Ultra 2. Did it make it the entire race? Did it die? What did the data look like? Let's take a look. So I wore the Apple Watch Ultra 2 and I also wore my Coros Apex 2 Pro as a backup because I wasn't too confident in thinking that this might make it the full race for me, whatever that took, whatever time it took. I did end up finishing in 24 hours and 51 minutes, which was good enough for 17th man. So I was very happy with that, did very well. But how did the Apple Watch Ultra 2 do? Did it make it? What did I do for the battery? So first off, let's get right to it. No, it didn't make it. It did not make it the entire race, but it was very, very close. And I probably could have done something that would definitely have made it make it the whole way. So what I did to get the longest battery life that I could think out of my Apple Watch Ultra 2. But before we get to the data of the Apple Watch Ultra 2, scroll down, click that thumbs up button, and give the video a like. It really does help out a lot and I would really appreciate it. Is I turned off the background app refresh. That just keeps apps in the background refreshing, whether it's, weather or whatever it might be. Turned that off. I also turned the Bluetooth completely off so it would not be connected to or paired with my phone whatsoever. I also turned off the Wi-Fi and then I turned the brightness settings down all the way. And of course I did put the watch on low power mode, but I did keep the app set to the normal GPS and heart rate readings. I didn't want to reduce the accuracy of the watch because we were going to be in a very remote area. I didn't know if that would provide a good enough track for me, so I kept it on that. So interestingly enough, it made it very, very close. It made it 23 hours and 5 minutes. All I needed was about 2 hours more and I would have finished since it was 24:51, a little less than 2 hours, but it was very close. It made it 153.9 kilometers, which is almost 96 miles. This was about a 102-mile race, just about. So again, very, very, very close to making it the entire way. I think if I would have later in the race, I saw that it was down to 9% battery. I think at that point, if I had switched the GPS tracking to less frequent readings, that probably would have extended it enough to make me be able to finish and get a full set of data from the Apple Watch Ultra 2. But I wanted to keep it like it was and see what would happen and test it. Because I knew I had my trusty Coros, which was not gonna die at all for this. So I had that and I knew I was gonna be safe there. But what's interesting, if we take a look at the actual GPS tracks. So here the blue is the Apple Watch Ultra 2 and the orange is the Coros Apex 2 Pro. You can see from the start, it did a pretty darn good job. Both of the watches looked pretty accurate. I noticed that when I was on, say, a gravel road versus a single track trail, the gravel road, the track looked very smooth, no issues at all. But when I got on a single track, I can see that the Apple Watch Ultra 2, the GPS track is a little more jagged. It's not quite as smooth. It's more like a little bit, jagged. But it was fine. Overall, it looks pretty decent. However, when I got late in the race, when the battery started getting quite low on the Apple Watch Ultra 2, I can definitely see some oddities show up on the on the GPS track here. That really the only thing I can think of is it's due to the battery life. But what is really neat, if you see here, this is when I came into the Bandy Creek aid station. This was about mile 77 in the race. You can see the Apple Watch Ultra 2 picked up that I actually went around the building. I came out of the trail, went around that building there, and that is exactly what I did, where the Apex 2 Pro showed that I cut that and went on the other side of the building, which I did not. So that was a really cool thing. But also what's really neat, if you can see, there's an area where both of the watches picked up where I went a little bit off the course, 10, 15 feet, and sat down because I had to take care of some blisters. So both watches picked that up, which is pretty neat. But right here, this is later on in the race when, again, the battery life was low. You can see the Apple Watch kind of like doubled back on itself a little bit. There's a little bit of it crosses over and does like a loop. I did not do that when running at all. There was no point where it was a loop where I did something like that. So that was definitely an oddity that was not there earlier in the race, and I can really only attribute that to the lower battery life. And it did it a couple of times from here on out until the battery died. You can see there's another area right here. Definitely some issues with the Apple Watch Ultra 2 GPS. And then right here, the Apple Watch Ultra 2 died with about 7 miles left in the race. So almost made it. I so close. So can the Apple Watch Ultra 2 make it 100 miles? For me, no, because I didn't run the race in 23 hours and 5 minutes. Had I run a little bit faster, yes, it could have. If you can run a sub 2400, probably in that 22 to 23 range, I think you're probably going to be clear with the settings that I had. It should be no problem. if you're in that 24 to whatever range, then no, unfortunately, I don't think it will with the full GPS tracking. You would need to change it to the reduced GPS and heart rate accuracy setting, which, you know, for most events would probably be okay unless you're really remote like this one was. So overall, I'm not surprised. I pretty much got what I expected. I honestly didn't think this would make it that far. You know, Apple claims this at 17 hours for a GPS activity. In my previous testing, I kind of thought it might go 16 to 17 hours. So 23 hours was a big surprise. I was very happy with that. I'm gonna keep playing with it and see if I can make it go a little bit longer, find some other settings as well. But overall, definitely way more than enough for a 100-kilometer ultra marathon. But 100 milers, you're probably still going to want to use that reduced accuracy setting. So now I want to know, have you run a 100-mile ultra marathon successfully with the Apple Watch Ultra 2 or the original Apple Watch Ultra? What settings did you use? Was there something else that I could do to possibly reduce the battery consumption just a little bit more? You know, I did turn the watch up quite a few times during the race to look at it as well. So had I not done that, that might have reduced the battery consumption just a little bit. Probably not a lot. But anyway, let me know if there's something else I could try. But thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate you all. If you haven't already, go back and take a look at the full review of the Apple Watch Ultra 2 on your screen. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.